Hello and welcome once again. I'm Anne Alexson, and on behalf of Holistic Bliss magazine, we are having a conversation today with Associate Professor Gary Leong. Now, Gary has been a consultant paediatric I usually can say this word, endocrinologist and clinician scientist for over 30 years, practicing and conducting research in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, and also in the National Institute for Health in Bethesda, Maryland in the USA. Gary's first book, called Ride to Life, a no-nonsense program for breaking your family's cycle of obesity and connecting to a healthier, happier life, was published this year. And in the book, Gary, or Dr. Koala, as he is also affectionately known, uses the power of inspiring stories he's collected from the lives of real families to inspire other families struggling with the same mental and physical ill effects of severe transgenerational obesity. Gary sees so many of these families suffering from what he calls the disconnection syndrome, a family life unfulfilled and lacking a priority for the family's whole of family health and well-being. Welcome once again, Gary. It's so good to see you, and I'm really looking forward to chatting further with you today and to learning more about mindfulness and mindful eating, and also anything else that you wanted to share with regards to the article that you shared in the magazine for this issue, the 5 Qs. So I want to first start with gratitude, Gary. Do you have a gratitude practice that you share with the families that you work with?
Yes. Hi, Anne. Nice to talk to you again, and welcome to all the viewers. Yes, the gratitude journal that I encourage my families that I see to use, and I try to use myself, is a very simple practice that focuses on, at the end of each day, thinking about 3 simple things that you've been thankful for at the end of the day. So they don't have to be complicated, big things. You don't have to win thousands of dollars in a cat's lotto or whatever. They're just simple things that, if you're practicing more mindfully as you're going along, you'll notice whether that's a beautiful blue sky with a cloud formation that gives you some imagination about, it looking like an animal, or a shape that gives you some pleasure. Yesterday I was in my garden. Oh, it's not my garden, it's my wife's garden. She looks after it. But I was sitting there in the morning sun after my bicycle ride, and we have some beautiful camellia trees at the back. Is that 3 of the flowers had bloomed, and they were just beautiful, and there were some small ants hiding within the petals, this beautiful pink color. So it's something simple like that can give you a little bit of joy, a little bit of pleasure, and being thankful for that, and writing that down in a little journal at the end of the day can help you focus on positive things that have happened to you. They can be more substantial. Obviously, you might have had a good day at work. You've did a good presentation. You might have, gone for a walk and be proud of the fact that you've spent your day outside getting vitamin N, vitamin nature that I've talked about before. So 3 simple little things. So I encourage everyone to do that.
Yeah, I love the simplicity, and I also love vitamin N. That's fantastic. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, I'd like to, if possible, and we can maybe do a little meditation practice just for 5 minutes, just to get a feeling of what that might feel like for people who perhaps have not done meditation before.
Fantastic. I'm sure our viewers will love that. Just spend 5 minutes.
Would you like to do that too, Anne? We can do it together.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So what I'll do, I'll get started with this little, it's my wife's little Buddhist, to get things going. So I'd like everyone to just find a place where, and you can sit or you can stand, you can even do meditation walking, but let's do a very simple one where we're sitting with our back straight and our hands gently folded in our laps. And then we can close our eyes and then just tune in to, as you breathe through your nose, in and out through your mouth. Just get that sensation of the breath moving in through your nostrils and out gently through your mouth. And then I know that you'll have lots of thoughts in your head, in your mind, and they'll be like little clouds there floating in front of your thoughts. And then as you're breathing in and out, try to let those clouds just disappear so that a blue, clear sky starts to appear in your mind, in and out through your nose, and get attuned with that feeling of your breath moving in and out through your nose and out through your mouth. You start to relax, to be conscious about how your body feels. Scan your body from the top of your head and use your breath to try to relax any tension in any part of your body as you scan from the top of your head to the top of your shoulders, your back, your arms and hands, and then tummy, abdomen, your pelvis, your legs to your feet. So just use the breath to relax those tensions, those feelings of tension in your body. And breathing in, clearing those clouds of thoughts in your head so that you're letting go of any thoughts. And then with time, you start to feel this inner peace, hopefully. Breath as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Releasing any tension in your body. Being thankful for the day that you've got ahead of you. Just focus on the, as you breathe through your nose and clear the thoughts in your head till a clear blue sky appears. And let this feeling of inner peace that hopefully the meditation is bringing you influence everything you think. So you can help yourself, your family, the people at your work, your community. So you feel calmer and more peaceful to face the day and all its challenges. Do this for 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day. It will soon become a daily practice that you'll find gives you some resilience to face the challenges of every day. Breathing through your nose and out through your mouth. All right.
I love that. And I love the simplicity. 5 minutes, get into a habit of doing it every day, and you just continue to accumulate
Yeah.
that sense of
I don't know about you, but I feel a lot calmer having done that 5 minutes. I feel
Indeed.
a little bit less stressed and ready for the remainder of the day. So that's good. So
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No. So it's getting so mindfulness, and I know that's a very, with Holistic Bliss, I know that there are a lot of practitioners that I'm sure read your magazine that do practice mindfulness, because it's obviously a Eastern tradition has been taken on by the West over the last 40, 50 years.
Yes.
Associated with yoga, which I practice as well. But it doesn't have to be associated with any particular religion. Obviously has Buddhist origins. It can be secular in that you can use it really as a way, as I said, to find inner peace and develop this resilience in your mind to basically face the challenges of modern life, which, we're always rushing around on our phones. I'm just as bad as anyone in that regard, but and thinking about yesterday and tomorrow rather than focusing on what's happening right now at the moment in front of you, whether it's something you have to do at work, something you have to do with your children. And then it's so important, and I see it so often in the families I see with severe obesity and diabetes and mental health problems, is that their anxiety, their approach to their food that they have to nourish their body, they end up eating very, very mindlessly and very fast. And that sort of habit that that child often learns from their parent leads to overeating and eating non-nourishing foods. So that's the challenge, to try to change that habit in many of the families that I see.
And so how do you change what has been mindless eating into mindful eating?
First of all, I ask the families to establish a mindful environment around their food and the practice. And if the main meal is where the family eats together, because breakfast can be very rushed sometimes to get out the door and to school, but that if we focus on dinner, having at least one mindful dinner experience together as a family, is actually having a dinner table to start off with, where you make a commitment, the family makes a commitment that this is the time where everyone is expected to be at the dinner table at a certain time for dinner, so you have a regular routine. Obviously, with parents both working now, different timetables, that's not always available, but it should be a discussion that's had at the beginning of trying to set this mindful eating practice up, that, okay, let's decide together as a family. There might be teenagers in the family, younger children. Teenagers often, again, it's challenging to get them involved, but if we can get the communication and discussion going at the start on maybe a Sunday when everyone's less stressed, hopefully, has a bit more time to talk around the dinner table, and decide, okay, we're going to try eat a little bit more mindfully. Dinner's going to be our focus to start off with as the first main meal. That means let's try and make a commitment that we're all going to be there at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, whatever time you decide. Everyone has a responsibility for setting the dinner table up. So the children, if they're old enough, might be involved in setting the placemats down, the utensils. If mum's a cook, Dad's helping in terms of getting the kids ready, so that, you know, they're going to be at that time at the dinner table, or he might be the cook himself and might help share the cooking. That obviously involves, you know, mindful shopping, which is another thing that we can talk about. So that you're not putting junk into your shopping basket, healthy, fresh, real rainbow food, fruit and vegetables and lean meats. So that initial meeting or conversation has to be made, because you can't, in a family that I often see, they don't have dinner tables. They just sit around the lounge room in front of the television and have the television on. They've ordered their takeaway food. They're sitting there and then they're mindlessly eating while they're watching television.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sets up all these unhealthy habits: overeating, eating very fast, not having any conversation between the different members of the family to talk about what their day was like, if they have any questions, what they'd like to weekend. So I often found when you get the dinner table set and the practice and a commitment to that time to have dinner together, and that might involve Dad maybe changing some of his work practices, or Mum for that matter. So, you know, when you make that commitment, you've got to, you know, everyone's got to be, it's one rule for all for one, as I say in my book.
Wonderful. So
yeah.
We could just converse about this for hours and hours, and we'll continue the conversation next month. But what I'd like to do is just wrap up very quickly with a bit of a takeaway for the audience. So takeaway number one for me is to find 5 to 10 minutes a day and just breathe and come into the now moment and you know, become mindful of where you are right now. And number two, get the family organised so that we're having at least one meal a day together.
Exactly. And try practice that as a mindful practice. Set some rules about, you know, the 20-minute rule I have, where you eat slowly, take your time, have a conversation between mouthfuls and chewing your food, and then obviously sharing those experiences. That way, dinner will be more enriching, communication will improve in the family, and there'll be better, you know, more peace around the dinner table, rather than often I find, you know, arguments and other things, and then therefore the whole thing breaks down. So finding peace at the dinner table, eating your food mindfully, slowly, taking your time, enjoying your food, nourishing your bodies and your mind at the same time.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Gary, once again for sharing your amazing information with us. And we will catch up again next week. Remember, for the audience, remember that Dr. Gary is also writing articles for us in the magazine. And remember to pick up a copy of his book so that you can get all of the information about that.
All right.
And I will share the link for those things in the post.
Wonderful. Thank you again, and see you
My pleasure.
next month, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you.